I, Isha Subedi, would like to express my deep appreciation for your presence and for your contributions towards our long-standing relationship that was established in the year 1965. Before we officially begin our program, I would like to request all of you to please rise for our national anthem.
Day for us, especially I would like to thank His Excellency the Ambassador and Madam, you all the way from Ottawa, you came here. The people to people, by the people, for the people, of the people, are we the people supposed to do this type of event, and we are expecting few MPs here today. They might be on the way, they are coming here, and also we have a few guests from beyond our community, I would say. But the point is, again, celebrating this part is Nepal-Canada relationship. I was just trying to explain. Many times I mentioned that even during my class time also. Nepal is, though it is a tiny, small Himalayan country, but Nepal and Canada has a lot of similarities, especially in the diversity, diversity, especially biodiversity, or the human diversity as well. We have so many different ethnic background people back Nepal, and the same way we have seen here as well. Our community, Nepalese community, are the main community which is, we say that it is Nepalese diaspora living in this country. We have a main role and responsibility to make a kind of bridge relationship in between these two countries. Because we, technically right now we are Canadian, but we are Nepali as well. Except us, nobody can make that type of better relationship in between these two countries. So we have that responsibility. That's why since last many years, we are trying to celebrate this type of event, and more than this event. So I'm so happy and delighted. I see that so many of our community, our leaders are here, all great friends are here. And to celebrate this event, I, again, not going to take too long, but I want to listen a lot of the good points, especially from our ambassador. For sure, Ambassador, Your Excellency, I know you have more points what to share with us. That I want to be ready for that. And then also we might gonna sing very soon. Some of the MPs might be on the way. And we have a couple of our friends are also going to share some of the very interesting points. Again, I want to welcome you all. Let's celebrate this, the Canada-Nepal, I would say Canada-Nepal Relationship Day. So Canada-Nepal Relationship Day celebrations. I see just right now MP Sonia Sidhu here. Welcome to the podium. Please welcome her and give her a big hand. Thank you so much. I was just welcoming you on behalf of the whole entire team. Again, I want to welcome you and all the team. So thank you so much. And let's celebrate today's great event. Thank you.
I miss the another organizer, Canada-Nepal, Federation of Canada-Nepal Chambers and Commerce, CNCC, because after 2 years, we are here to celebrate similar events. Before 2 years, there was an event organized by CNC Canada in Mississauga. I was the MC fortunately at that time, and I thought it was sole program. So today's program is organized jointly by Concern Nepal Canada and Federation of Canada Nepal Chambers of Commerce. Actually, Concern Nepal Canada has been doing few things, not too many things, few things since past decade, I guess, since 2008. Concern Nepal Canada and Federation of Canada Nepal Chambers of Commerce have been jointly doing some informative programs between Nepal and Canada, I guess. Concern Nepal Canada, mainly I would like to mention some points here. It has been organizing different talk show programs in international arena to recognize birthplace of Buddha, Lord Buddha in Nepal, Mount Everest and Himalayas. And some delegates from Nepal to Canada have been sharing their ideas, views and reviews among the Nepalese diaspora. In the same perspective, today's program also going toward that direction. So not taking too much time, I would like to...
First, our President of NCNCC, Mr. Vijay Paudel, to come in the stage and speak a few words. He is a Nepalese Canadian entrepreneur, philanthropist, and a social activist.
Hello. It's working, right? Okay. Thank you so much, Isa, for doing your job wonderfully, and she also served as the event coordinator for Federation of Canada Nepal Chamber of Commerce. And I'm very glad today to share this podium with a lot of our distinguished guests, including His Excellency Vrigo Dungana, and we have a couple of MPs here today, including Sonia Sidhu, and some of the MPs are on their way, and I can see Dan Mears. He also served as the advisor of FCNCC. And please have your seat. Thank you so much. Thank you. And we have Kyle Sivak, SADC Minister for International Trade, and he also has been appointed as advisor for Chamber of Commerce as well, and he's on his way. And we invited another guest, MP Militia Landsman. He's a deputy leader for the. She's a deputy leader and member of parliament for Thurnhill. So unfortunately, it's sad to hear that she got a COVID positive and she could not be here in this program. But we are expecting her executive assistants to be here very soon. And also we have today here is our president of Canada Hindu Chamber of Commerce, Naresh Sabda is here, and we will be sharing some memorandum of understanding (MOU) between CSCC and FCNCC as well. And next we have President of NIRNE Canada, Deepak Gautam, and our executive from Concern Nepal, Chandra Rai, Dr. Tulsi Daril. And I would like to thank each and every one of you who are present in this program today, including all of the Nepalese organization, and who has been continuously active to promote the Nepalese diaspora and to promote Canadian economy, business, and culture. So last year, FCNCC organized this event virtually, where we had guests connecting from different parts of the world, actually from Nepal, India, and Canada. So this year, we are very fortunate to have you all here in this Bukhara Grill, and it's also owned by Nepalese owner. And we are glad to organize this event in person together with Concern Nepal Canada and Chamber of Commerce. I'll share you some of the facts between Canada and Nepal, so please bear with me for the next 10 minutes. Today we'll be reflecting on more than 5 decades of bilateral relationship between Canada and Nepal, and also focusing on the promotion of trade between two countries based on the business, economic, and social factor. So on this very special day, I would like to remember 14 Nepalese security guards killed in suicide blast on their way to work at Canadian Embassy in Afghanistan on June 2016.
Has become a foundation for many UN member nations who have become independent after the Second World War, including the UN agencies, and including for Nepal. Nepal's brand new constitution of 2015 is largely informed by the rights-based approaches that have been envisioned by this declaration of 1948. Professor Humphrey, he was the professor at McGill University, was also instrumental in setting up Amnesty International in Canada, an organization whose values have been a guide for many individuals and civil society organizations around the world, including in Nepal, who advocate against marginalization, against discrimination, against violence, to promote peace and harmony in the society. The other example that I would like to highlight today is about Prime Minister and diplomat Lester Pearson, and particularly about United Nations peacekeeping mission, which he championed in the 1950s.
I would like to request Ms. Linen Gurung from Federation of Chamber of Commerce of Canada and Nepal to hand over the cap and the Khabar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Today amongst us are examples who have contributed to make a difference in our communities and our countries. I would like to welcome our chief guest, His Excellency Prigu Dungana, Ambassador of Nepal to Canada. He joined Nepali Foreign Service as a section officer in 1996. Since then, he has been working in the Embassy of Nepal in New Delhi. I would like to request them to please join us on stage and say a few words. I would also like to welcome Mr. Govinda Shivakuri to please come on stage to honor him with the cap and khada. Please give them a round of applause.
The Honorable Sonia Sidhu, the Member of Parliament and Chairperson of Canada-Nepal Parliamentary Friendship Group, the Honorable Dan Moyes, the Member of Parliament, Dr. Tulsi Dharet, Coordinator of Concern Nepal Canada, Mr. Vijay Paudel, President of the Federation of Canada-Nepal Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Naresh Chabra, President of Canadian Hindu Chamber of Commerce, eminent personalities, office bearers of Concern Nepal, Canada and FCNCC, distinguished participants, guests, namaste. At the outset, I would like to thank Concern Nepal Canada and the Federation of Canada-Nepal Chamber of Commerce for jointly organizing this important event. to commemorate the 58th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Nepal and Canada. On this happy occasion, I would like to congratulate you all on behalf of the Embassy of Nepal and on my own. Earlier speakers have already highlighted various aspects of Nepal-Canada relations. Today I would like to briefly touch upon some important aspects of such relationship, focusing primarily on its inception, progression, basic features and future prospects. I'm pleased to recall that Nepal and Canada have been enjoying excellent relations marked by goodwill, friendship and cooperation ever since the establishment of diplomatic relations on 18 January 1965. Though Nepal and Canada are geographically apart, but the distance has never been a hindrance in the connection between the two friends living on two different hemispheres. One important aspect of our relations is that both countries embrace similar values of democracy, good governance, rule of law, and respect for freedom and human rights within federal framework. It is flourishing at different levels. Besides relations at the official level, those at the institutional and the people-to-people levels have deepened considerably over the decades. Canada has been a reliable development partner of Nepal. Canadian cooperation mainly contributed to strengthening aviation sector and such other areas as energy, rural development, health, education, geographical survey and others, poverty alleviation, agriculture. We highly admire its cooperation for Nepal's socio-economic development endeavors for decades. Importantly, the depth of friendship between the two countries is amply reflected by Canadian support to Nepal in difficult times, such as post-natural disasters and calamities. The support from the people and government of Canada to us in the aftermath of the devastating earthquake of April 2015, as well as for Nepal's post-earthquake reconstruction efforts was remarkable. The government of Canada also supported Nepal by providing much-needed vaccines and medical equipment to fight against the COVID-19 pandemic recently. The strong relations between the two countries have been further enriched by recent high-level visits or meetings and discussion on pertinent matters. Exchange of high-level visits always remain a top priority of both sides. The meetings between the prime ministers of the two countries, visit to Nepal by the Speaker of Senate of Canada in 2020, exchange of views on between the foreign ministers of two countries, and the regular meetings of the bilateral consultation mechanism at the foreign ministry level, among other engagements, have been extremely important. During the recently held third bilateral consultation mechanism meeting in Ottawa on 29th of September last year in 2022, the two sides discussed a range of important matters of bilateral interest, included development cooperation, trade and investment, education, culture and tourism, as well as environment and climate change, among others. The Nepali side requested the Canadian side to consider establishing Canadian representation in Nepal and making arrangements for the issuance of visas in Kathmandu. Importantly, in effort to establish and strengthen relations between the parliaments of two countries, the Canada-Nepal Parliamentary Friendship Group was formed in Canada in October 2016. And in Nepal also, the Parliament of Nepal has constituted a similar Nepal-Canada Parliamentary Friendship Group. Such increasing engagement between the two sides has also given a new dynamism to our quest for taking bilateral relations to a new height, including through further expansion and consolidation of mutually beneficial cooperation. Accordingly, the implementing the understandings reached during the visits and high-level engagements remains a top priority of our two sides. Both countries have also been working closely in international forums on such common issues as climate change, peacekeeping, human rights, multilateralism, and the promotion of developing countries. As I talk about Nepal-Canada relations, it would be pertinent to mention briefly about Nepal's current priorities. We all know that following the conclusion of the political transition, the government of Nepal's efforts are focused on attaining economic development of the country and bringing about positive change and prosperity in the lives of the Nepali people. Nepal has made good progress in socio-economic development. Immediately before the COVID-19 pandemic, the average growth rate but nonetheless, the trade is not much to the satisfaction of both sides. There are lots of things we can still do, and we have tremendous potential for the trade expansion between our two countries. Encouragingly, the duty-free market access available for the Nepali exporters can be utilized by them. It is quite encouraging to see that some business organizations and entrepreneurs from both countries have taken important steps to foster bilateral trade with initiatives of some dynamic entrepreneurs. Some organizations in Canada have also formed some organizations or business bodies to promote bilateral trade and investment, such as Canada-Nepal Business Council and the Federation of Canada-Nepal Chamber of Commerce. We know that bilateral trade can be further enhanced through the establishment of solid links between relevant entities of the two countries, identification of products, effective marketing, exchange of visits of officials and trade delegations, and participation in trade fairs. Hence, all of these continue to remain our priority. Another area of focus is definitely the foreign investment. Nepal has been inviting foreign investment in such priority sectors as physical infrastructure, hydropower, tourism, and industry. And Nepal has adopted a liberal economic and foreign investment policy in order to improve investment climate. It has enacted important legislations. Nepal has also been in the first 10 months of 2022, for example, total 4,255 Nepali students obtained a study permit for Canada. At the same time, we have other areas like culture and sports, which offer unique opportunities to strengthen bilateral ties. I'm happy to recall the successful visit of the Nepali national cricket team to Canada last year, thanks largely to Nepalese Canadian Cricket Club. Similarly, our focus also lies on establishing linkages among the academic and research institutions of the two countries so as to institutionalize cooperation in relevant fields. To conclude, I would like to say that the excellent relations existing between Nepal and Canada have been further strengthening with enhanced cooperation and engagement between the two countries at different levels since 1965. Both countries have been working bilaterally as well as in multilateral forums on areas of common interest. I also believe that through effective implementation of various components of economic engagement, both our sides would immensely benefit. The relationship between the two countries would be further expanded and deepened in the coming days with joint efforts from the two sides. On this special day today, let us all resolve to contribute from our respective places to consolidate multidimensional relations between Nepal and Canada. I once again extend my best wishes to you all on the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Nepal and Canada. I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, everybody. I would also like to take this moment to thank our sponsors, Atul Subedi from Subedi Law Firm, Purnima Daga from PV Staffing, and Gokul Lanichane from Suitors. I would like to pass...
Speech.
15, after election, there was disaster happened, and all the community leaders, we worked together when Canada sent 27 million aid to Nepal. So I want to give a shout out to all the community leaders. Doesn't matter it's a COVID-19, doesn't matter any disaster in back home or here, we all work together, shoulder to shoulder. So really want to applaud for the Nepalese community. When I was hearing our Excellency's speech, 110 to 94, it's coming that number, and we don't know next year like what number the Nepalis can be. Nepal can be on that UN number. So keep up the good work, and we are all here. I know we met in November when in Ottawa, His Excellency, and then Ralph Oliphant was there, and you're always there. We are all MP. We work together. Doesn't matter we are in which team, but we work together with the Nepalese community. And I see Nepali diaspora is going and growing. Doesn't matter it's in real estate, doesn't matter in accountancy, doesn't matter in which field. Lots of doctors, they work so hard in COVID-19. I personally know so many doctors. So thank you so much. The only one thing which is lacking off today, women, more women. Let's include more women. We need more women. So next time when we are celebrating, and then we want to see more women. Yes, that's right. So the milestone goes to show the strong bond of friendship and mutual respect that our two nations have built over the years. I'm looking forward to go to Nepal, because now I'm a chair of Nepali and Canada friendship group, and I know my two MPs are here. We all want to go to Nepal, and then yeah, because COVID-19, that is why it didn't happen, and then that's why when I'm going back, and then first meeting is gonna happen. Friendship group, and then we want to grow that friendship group so we can work together on many concerns. And thank you so much, Chamber of Commerce, Concern Nepal, Canada, and thank you.
Thank you, Honorable MP Sonia Sidhu from Brampton South. It's our great pleasure, her presence here, her speech, as well as her contribution to the Bramptonians, as well as special contribution to Nepalese community since 4 years. This is our second tenure, and still she has been actively working. I'd like to hand over my mic to my colleagues for further activities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Member of Parliament for Dufferin Caledon, Kyle Seaback. Let's give him a round of applause and invite him on stage.
So I'm really thrilled to be here today to talk.
From 2011, he's here.
There you go. Fantastic. Nice to see you again. I thought I'd talk just a little bit about the relationship between Canada and Nepal, and in particular with respect to my portfolio, which is the Shadow Minister for International Trade. So I do want to talk just a little bit about that. It's great to see that the Chamber of Commerce is here, because that is really a key driver for building that relationship between our two countries. But I want to first talk about recognizing, of course, it's the 58th anniversary of our bilateral diplomatic relationship, January 18th, 1965. So congratulations on 58 years. I think that's absolutely fantastic. we really look forward to growing the relationship. I'm going to throw out just a small piece of information that some of you may know and some of you may not. So in 1991, a special report on immigration and citizenship in Canada stated that only 125 people indicated that their place of birth was Nepal. 125 people. And I can say that in the last census in 2021, there are now 22,000 Nepalese Canadians across Canada today. How amazing is that? In 30 years to have that kind of growth. I think that's absolutely fantastic. So, how do we build and continue to build the relationship between Canada and Nepal? Well, I would suggest that's through trade. For those of you that don't know, 65% of Canada's gross domestic product comes from trade, and it's a huge part of what we do in this country. Right now, we have only approximately $75 million worth of bilateral trade between Canada and Nepal, and that is something I think we should be actively looking to grow. And how do we do that? We continue to build relationships. We build relationships with chambers of commerce. We have people-to-people relationships. That's how we're going to do it. And I think we have to focus on that and focus on that a little bit more. I know we've had some trade missions that have gone to Nepal. I also think we should start looking at a foreign investment protection and promotion agreement. That is the first step towards moving towards a more official trade relationship, and that is actually something that can spur investment between both countries. Something that I'm certainly going to be talking to our leader about with respect to how we would move forward. And it's something that the current government, you've got an MP here who can advocate for that. I think we should advocate for that because that's going to continue to build that relationship. Look, I think there's lots of things that both countries can give to each other when you build and foster a trade relationship. So all of you, I'm going to encourage, let's try and build that relationship between ourselves, between your Member of Parliament, between Mr. Mays, who's a Member of Parliament as well, and through business-to-business relationships. My door is always open to talk about trade and investment. If anyone wants to get in touch with me, I'm happy to work on any bilateral issues that you consider important. I consider myself a long-term friend of the Nepalese community, and so I'm really thrilled to be here. Thank you for inviting me, giving me the opportunity to speak a little bit. Let's continue to build that relationship. Let's work hard. I'd like to see that trade relationship at $150, $200 million a year in a few short years. Thank you very much.
Electoral reason, I'd like to request him to be here for a certain speech. Thank you.
Nepalese community, a member of the Federation of Canada-Nepal Chamber of Commerce, and of course the Canada-Nepal Friendship Group, and I know we've got lots of work to do in that area too. So let me just first present the certificates that Melissa has given me, and then we'll continue.
As well as Mr. Vijay Paul to receive the token of law. Second.
Our community, there's this, which has some more detail, but I'll give that to you.
Okay.
The tragedy that happened in Nepal last week, and we remember the souls who lost their lives and hope for comfort and peace from for their families. Already we see Canadians rushing to help the victims through charitable acts like donations and through prayers, but also through the assistance organizations like the Canada Transportation Safety Board. That's the thing about the relationship between Canada and Nepal. It's not just based on trade, it's based on friendship and genuine good sense of goodwill. And we saw that, and we've heard about that from the natural disaster that struck in 2015 and the assistance that was provided at that time. There's many linkages between our communities, and so Melissa would like to as well thank her friend and our friend BJ for his leadership as president and founder of the organization, which is the Federation of Canada-Nepal Chamber of Commerce, and to recognize His Excellency the Ambassador who is here, and to thank him for his presence with us today. So I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that from terms of Melissa's comments, and I'll pass that on to the organizers to have as well. And I just want to say, from my perspective, also, our thoughts are with the families of the 72 souls that passed away, and we know that, that of course Nepal air disasters are not new to Nepal. I sit on the Transportation Committee of Parliament, and so we're aware of some of these things, and I'm glad to hear the Canadian Transportation Safety Agency is providing some assistance, and hopefully that can help in this time. It's great to see His Excellency here, and I remember meeting him in Ottawa at the embassy back in the fall of 2021, I believe, if I recall. It was November, but it had already started to snow in Ottawa. So, as well, I'm wearing here just the pin from when the cricket team came here. So that was a great day. And they all came in, and we were all clapping and cheering, and so I hold this dearly. And as well, I have so in addition to the new ball cap, which I'll add to my collection, in my office in Ottawa, I have, of course, the Nepal flag, and I have as well my own topi that I received and so it's in Ottawa. I would have brought it with me here today. I received that. There was an event at Nathan Phillips Square, and I know many of you were there, and the media was there as well back in the summer. Great festival of music and dance and food, and so I hold all those things dear. And I think the Ambassador, His Excellency, spoke about that people-to-people relationship, and I think that's really what we've been embarking on. And while I know that Kyle referenced 22,000 in the last census, I know it's even higher now because there are those that are of course not identified in the census, through citizenship. So we've got a growing Nepalese community, not just here in the GTA but across Canada, and that is significant as those relationships are developed.
Nepal, Canada, for celebrating 58 Canada-Nepal diplomatic relationship. I want to recognize and thanks all distinguished guests, including Chief Guest Bhrugu Tungura, Ambassador of Nepal, Canada, special guest Honorable MPs who representing us in our federal government and give their speech and information for helpful to building the good relation between Nepal and Canada. Distinguished speakers from the community and all ladies and gentlemen who are attending today. I want to recognize my colleagues Kushagra Sharma. He is the Vice President of Canadian Hindu Chamber of Commerce. Nepal and Himalayan region is a heaven on earth, we all know from long time. When we think about the heaven, means lots of prosperity. Canada also give a country of migrant and prosperity. So there are many similarities between Nepal and Canada, which we are celebrating today. Let me talk about the organization I am representing, CHCC, Canadian Hindu Chamber of Commerce. It's a non-for-profit Canadian federal organization dedicated to become a vehicle of expression, representation, and improvement for Hindu business community in Canada. Commerce, and we will do in future joint event too. Not taking your more time, I want to mention we are doing planning for the trade mission for the South Asia and Indian continent, including Nepal.
2% less than 1% trade, and it's great to hear from one of the members of parliament here, like he's going to support with us, and economic diplomacy is one of the important areas that we need to focus on. Economic diplomacy, usually what happens is economists and diplomats don't get along each other. That's true, but don't get me wrong, Mr. Excellency. It is because, but the reality is, the reason is this: the economists usually come up with abstract ideas, Economists have like they always work with the graphs, numbers, tables, models, equations, and but the diplomats want to act like immediately. So that's why there is kind of inconsistency there. But still, there is no way that economists and the diplomats must work together. All right, there's one say by Peter Burjay, who writes always on economic diplomacy. He says that always trade follows the flag. Trade follows the flag, meaning that we need to always focus on economic diplomacy to do more trade. Just I want to give you one example here, by the way. Probably you picked up that news about.
यहाँ उपस्थित हुनुभएका सबैमा त्यस्तै गैर आवासीय नेपाली सङ्घ क्यानाडा और एनआरएनए क्यानाडाका सेक्रेटरी स्पोक्सपर्सन वीरेन्द्र राउत and secretary Mr. Official visit of President of Constitution Assembly Honorable Subhash Nemang to Canada to learn the functioning of a federal system in Canada is another epitome for Nepal to implementation federalism in Nepal. In addition to this, the chief of RCMP's visit to Nepal sometimes ago to highlight the border security system and participating and implementing federal system in Nepal. Canada's support to Nepal through CEDA is based on trades due to the geolocation of the two countries. There are difficulties in increasing direct trades. It is obvious that Canada has been a first choice of Nepali students and skilled immigrants today, and we were observing a huge influx of immigrants coming to Canada from Nepal. There are more than 60,000 population of Nepali origin in Canada, so this bilateral relation should not be regarded based on the trades between two nations. It should be taken into consideration based on the relation that we have been able to maintain over 58 years in people's level. I want to tell today that Nepali diaspora residing in Canada are seriously concerned about Canada's position is not taking initiative to open embassy or visa office in Nepal. Canada needs to consider this as an act to be taken to address our concern. Let's present here another fact. Tentatively, 4,200 students obtained no objection letter to came to Canada to pursue their future studies by October 2022. In this number continues, the number of students coming to Canada will be maybe 10,000 by the end of 2023. At the same time, 95% of them will apply for a spousal visa, and if required, they must go to Delhi for the interview. Nepal opened its embassy in 2008 to continue its diplomatic relations and trades. Based on this fact, Canada must open its embassy or visa office to strengthen trades and diplomatic relations to all forms. On behalf of Nepalese people of Nepalese origin residing in Canada, I would like to request the opening of visa office in Nepal eases Canada to invest in aviation, solar energy, waste management, and mining sectors to build the trade avenue.
Ceremony happened, and I believe I don't represent the whole community, but on behalf of the community, I thank the organizer for creating this scenario over here so we can lobby with the Canadian government to open a visa and a trade office. That is much needed in Nepal and relation between two countries. And I'm really thankful. So on behalf, I thank myself to the organizers and also to the dignitaries who came over here to listen our word, and I believe that dignitaries who are over here going to take that to the parliament to lobby for us, and I believe that Ms. Sidhu already left. She is the Canada-Nepal Parliamentary Friendship Chair right now, so she we're going to talk to the parliamentarian to take to Nepal in 2023. I believe there's a event happening for celebrating the 70th I think 70th Mount Everest climbed by Sir Edmund Hillary. So I think the next year they are going to celebrate. I think this year they are going to celebrate the 70th festival in Nepal. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to. Thank you.
Message from Premier Dogford. So she will be
Premier Dogford. I want to extend warm greetings to everyone taking part in the annual conference of Federation of Canada-Nepal Chambers of Commerce and Concern Nepal Canada. Today, Nepalese Canadians gather to celebrate the friendship and partnership between our two nations as we mark the 58th anniversary of bilateral diplomatic relationships between Canada and Nepal. I want to take this opportunity to express my appreciation for your community. You have made a significant contribution in business, culture, and all aspects of your provincial life. You continue to help foster growth and innovation and connect us to Nepal and the global community. Hats off to the energetic and creative team who made this amazing festival possible. Ontario is proud to be home to a vibrant community of Nepali Canadians. As we work together to build a strong province and economy, our diverse communities will play an important role in reconnecting and energizing us, so we can come back better than ever. Best wishes for an inspiring and productive conference. I would like to request all of you to please give a round of applause to Premier Dogford. We couldn't be here physically, but we appreciate his message and support that he has for us. I would once again like to announce our sponsors. Purnima Daga from PB Staffing, Mr. Atul Subedi from Subedi Law Farm, and Gokul Lamchania from Suitors. May I please request them to be on stage so we can present them with certificate of appreciation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good. Samantha.
Thank you. We appreciate your help.
Rather than to be seated in front of the platforms, program. And the last speaker of the program, Mr. Chandarai, the pioneering figure of Concern Nepal Canada. You will be wrapping up the programs with his vote of thanks to everyone. We have directly or indirectly contributed to this program, and then after you will be dismissing the program, announcing the further activities like snacks program. Thank you, sir. I request you to be here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Maya Angelou said, "Be present in all things, and grateful for in all." Today, this is my sincere privilege to propose vote of thanks on behalf of organizing forum and myself, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to extend my profound gratitude to our chief guest, Ambassador of Nepal to Canada, His Excellency Krigu Tongara, for supporting, guiding, and being with us today to make successful event. Similarly, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Honorable Dan Mue, Honorable Kyle Sibiak for your very inspiring words and Govinda Shivagoti, Tulsi Dawed, Madhav Gajurel, Yesha Shubedi, and many more. Lastly, I'd like to thank each and everyone to coming here and joining with us tonight to make this successful event. Thank you.